All right, there we go. There is the beginning of the show. Welcome, everybody. Nice to see y'all out there. And I see some familiar faces, and I'm sure more people will be joining as we go along. And good, loud and clear. That's what I like to hear. I'm wearing my detailer hat, so you know that being a Mondays I like to focus on a little bit of detailing centric stuff because I gotta flex that muscle because I'm not detailing every day, but I spend so much time around this industry. It is something that over time I've become really passionate about. Even if it's not something I'm necessarily doing, it's like maybe I just like critiquing other people's work. I don't know what it is exactly, but I get the appeal. I understand why people are drawn to taking something that exists and making it look nicer. There's appeal there. I get that. But yeah, now I am cursed with the knowledge of what things could look like if given the proper time and attention. Not everything necessarily deserves to be treated that way. Well, that's not true. Anything can deserve to be treated that way. It's all down to the individual owners and how they feel about it. I mean, sometimes you kind of feel like stuff gets neglected. Anyway, it's a philosophical question that I'm not looking to answer today, but glad to see you guys are here. So, anyway, I'm seeing some stuff about art classes now. We got Bob Ross week happening there at Little Happy Accident, day live on location from his wraparound deck with an easel. Oh my God, if I started painting my backyard, that would be interesting. Just on the mountainside doing the thing. Yeah, so nice to see y'all here. I could have actually done that if I brought my paint. That's true. You could potentially do that. Anyway, I guess I should, well, you know what's so funny? I would say let the cat out of the bag and say I did get a new vehicle, but the two people that are here already know this and they know what it is. So, as far as that goes, it wouldn't be much of a surprise at this point, unless you want to weigh in and say, "Hey, wait a second, you forgot about me, Dane. I want to know what it is." Maybe I just won't talk about it. Maybe we'll save that for later. Maybe I can bring it up when more people are watching. Well, we'll see about that. But anyway, it is definitely a detailing occasion. But for the uninitiated, just in case you're watching and it's not throwing the numbers out there. Uh, I'll go ahead and spoil it here. We'll just kick it over to my React view and ta-da! Okay, so that wasn't just a random picture I chose. In case you're wondering, I did in fact get myself a new vehicle. And what vehicle might that be? Well, it's a Ford Flex. And I know some people will be like, oh, what a soccer mom mobile. But, there's a particular kind of thing. Yeah, traded a Jag for the Flex. Yeah, no, not in a million years. But I will say the van's time, my JDM four-wheel drive, right-hand drive van, its time in my driveway is coming to an end here. So, nothing wrong to do with the van itself. It's just I felt like an internal push, like, okay, you've always wanted a Ford Flex. You've done the off-roady stuff with the van up to a point, but with the lack of basic creature comforts beyond like a heater and AC, the thing's not exactly like the world's best road trip companion unless you're into like van life stuff, in which case great. But my van without cruise control and off-road tires and all that stuff, it's just road trips in it. I can't see myself doing a ton of those. It's fun, and it's really fun once you get there because you can drive it over anything and everything, but getting there on a freeway is kind of a chore. And it's sorry, I hit the mic. It's one of those things where you just kind of go, yeah, I've been there, I've done that now, tick that off the list, I'm happy. And once again, nothing wrong with the van. I know somebody else is going to love it. It's just I've now experienced that, and I can cross that experience off my list and move on to the next thing. And that next thing is a Ford Flex. Now, I've always been interested in the Ford Flex because the powertrain choices, the boxy styling. I like the boxy styling. It evokes a certain sense of like the classical, mythical American station wagon, but at the same time with like a little more panache, a little more style. I think you could have LS swapped it and added cruise control. Dan, you're not wrong about the van. There are some possibilities. The problem is, I'm not the guy to do that. I am not the guy to do adventurous first time engine swaps into vehicles that haven't had them. Like, leave that up to like Finnegan and Freiberger, like other people, Mighty Car Mods, and all those folks can do all the swaps they want. But I'm not somebody running a YouTube channel who does that sort of thing. Oh, Wes Oaks, welcome. It almost looks like it says We Soaks, but I know that's Wes Oaks. So what a fool to you. So anyway, yeah, for those wondering, the picture, yes, my new vehicle that slots in the multi-passenger seating all-wheel or four-wheel drive vehicle slot in my driveway is now Ford Flex. But it's the all-wheel drive EcoBoost, top of the line, loaded to the hilt version, and it's a 2014, which was important to me because 2013 and onward are the facelifted version that, frankly, in my opinion, looks much better. The earlier Flexes are boxy, but they have that kind of like less attractive Ford front end to me. I'm just not about those. But these facelifted ones, I really like. So you can see I took a lot of pictures of the flaws too. But these facelifted ones are definitely more my speed. I like that. All about them car slots. Slot cars, also fan. Wow, the Jag is looking very blue in this picture. Anyway, yeah, so I found the color combo I've been interested in. Basically, I've been looking at these for the past, I would say 2, 3, 4 years. I've been interested in them longer than that. But in the background, I've always kind of been, eyeballing them, paying attention to the market, seeing what pricing is, just understanding, like, okay, when the time comes, I'm gonna find one and I'm gonna get one. At some point, I will own a Ford Flex. At some point. I didn't know when. I just knew at some point I would. Well, now that time has come when I saw one pop up at a local car lot that had probably been traded in for a new Mazda or something along those lines at this dealership. And they had it listed for a pretty reasonable price. They were asking like right around 16. But I knew that most of the ones I've been looking at that were fully loaded were usually more in the 18 to 22K slot. So like 18 to 22,000 was the normal amount I was seeing for a fully loaded Ford Flex that was, all-wheel drive, EcoBoost, all that good stuff with, this is always a big one for me, heated and cooled seats. If I can find a vehicle that's not expensive, that has like super awesome amenities like heated and ventilated seats, they call it ventilated instead of cool because some people have an unrealistic expectation of what a seat cooler can do. So they just call it ventilated to kind of weasel out of it. But the reality is they're cooled seats. But so Dane offered them 20K. Take it or leave it. Shut up and take my money. Yeah, no. I offered him a little less than that. But at the same time, I wasn't going to insult him and try and lowball and walk out with an amazing deal, which would just be more of a pain for me. I ended up finding a good compromise. It was below 15, so that's cool by me. Butt coolers are sweet in the summer. Yes, I like the fact that I can have a cooled seat, like a air-conditioned seat, ventilated seat, whatever you want to call it, and use less of actual air conditioning so that I get better fuel economy in the summer, and I also get all the power my car can make. AKA swamp coolers. Yeah, swamp ass coolers. It's a little preventative maintenance on the old undercarriage. Anyway, I really love that. So this one is fully loaded, though. I mean, it's got heated rear seats even, which is kind of unusual in a lot of cars, unless you're getting up into luxury makes. And yeah, it's got the super panoramic sunroof thing. It's got like 4 sunroofs. There's one that actually moves up front. Then there's another one over the back third row. And then in the middle row, they each get their own individual kind of like lengthwise ones, which is interesting. But yeah, it's a different way of doing it. But they all have sunshades, and everybody's not going to fry or anything. It's just, it's a cool little touch. Like, oh, you're going to go look at Christmas lights or something? Great, you can actually see up and out, and, little stuff. I don't know. I'm thinking out there. But it's fun. I like the idea. So, yeah, that is what's been going on in my world. And, of course, for the price, it is a little less than other ones you see out there. So it does have a few miles on it. We're talking a little over 100,000 miles. We're in the 120 range. So, it's got a few, but I ain't scared of miles. That's been my thing, is like, find a car that's depreciated but was well taken care of. This one actually lived in Idaho, so it didn't leave Idaho. Fortunately, it's been here the whole time. But yeah, did these have the EcoBoost head gasket issues? So the EcoBoost in this one, I haven't heard of head gasket issues, but what I hear from a lot of people is the water pump, which is apparently kind of like a design flaw in these earlier EcoBoost motors. In this case, this is like kind of an earlier revision version of the EcoBoost, but not like the big time revision they did in like 2017 onward, which was a little bit more involved. But in the case of this one, hey bro, I heard you want sunroof for your sunroofs. These had a water pump that was like apparently impossible to get to without removing essentially the front chunks of the engine. So in some of the SUVs they found in the EcoBoost Duratec V6 style SUVs, they had to remove basically the engine from the car just to do the work, and it resulted in like a sometimes multi-$1,000 fix for people, which is insane when you're talking about a water pump. That's not that unusual of a piece, but that was the deal with those. So I think even freaking Nissan is a timing chain driven water pump. And it's funny, I was talking to Anthony about that today, and Anthony, he likes timing chains. He thinks the whole timing chain thing is overblown and people shouldn't worry about it, but you know, whatever. I get it. Yeah, no, I looked into the history of the car, and doesn't look like the water pump had been replaced, at least not on the Carfax stuff that I was able to get a hold of. And I had a pretty solid history looking back on it, but that's pretty much been the case. I don't see a replacement in there. However, the car does seem to run and drive fine. I think there's just some other small issues, cosmetic stuff, things I'll need to worry about on there. So yeah, I got my work cut out for me for things to do, but I'm very excited to, have some fun, get started with it, try out a little tuning, maybe do some wheels and tires, a little exhaust stuff, and obviously setting aside some cash for handling the other bits. But anyway, that kind of gives you a better idea. So moving along so that we don't lose viewers here, we'll actually get to the detailing stuff here in a second. I just wanted to throw that out there so that you guys actually had a chance to see. Timing chains are great as long as you don't have excessive guide wear or driver accessories with the chain. Why? Yeah, Dan, I get you. I hear you. I feel you. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I got there. But anyway, it's cool. I look forward to showing you guys more of it at a later date when I've got some more interesting stuff to report. But honestly, this is the most normal I've gotten as far as cars go. Like my other stuff are always oddballs. Other than like my Toyota Tacoma I had for a year, this is probably the most normal vehicle I've got, or had in a while. Anyway, let's move on. Let's go ahead and get to the detailing stuff. Go ahead and get over there. So closing that tab out. I feel like starting things off here. What about the Ford toilet hauler? You're right. The Sport Track, I mean, that one's kind of an oddball in its own way. But by my car standards, yeah, that one's pretty normal. I would say that's fair. That's fair to call that one a little bit normie, because it was. But it's been a minute, you know? It's been a while since 2020 was here and torturing all of us. And sometimes we just got to move on with our lives. In this case, even though I grew up with a GM kind of family, I've owned more Ford products than anything else. And I'm not a Ford guy. Like, I could care less the make of a car. To me, it's the specifications I'm looking for, specific things that I can get. What kind of bang for my buck am I getting? Measuring depreciation versus reliability, all these different things. Like, I find the sweet spots just keep bringing me back to Ford products in various cases, for better or for worse. But like I had a C-Max Energy, love that thing. But now I'm in a Flex EcoBoost, so that should be fun. Anyway, I figure we start off pretty light. It's just a 2.5-minute video of an SP2 Ferrari Monza getting quickly detailed. Nothing too fancy. It's just a nice little palette cleanser to get us into the detailing mindset. Then we'll watch, well, you'll see. All right, starting things off. and that is a Coke Zero for anybody keeping track of my diet. This channel is a really underappreciated channel, in my personal opinion. And Tempo Concept has done some very cool stuff. Love that green. Green with yellow accents on a historic race car styled vehicle is definitely it's a winner in my book. I've seen a couple of these SP2 Monzas in person, and they are gorgeous in person. Like, yeah, I'll never be able to afford one, but at the same time, I can appreciate a nice looking vehicle, so. Ah yes, Amazon brushes. I know. They're into the Modesta side of the coding game, I see. Back and forth motion. Eventually get this thing coded, guys. High arc curing lamps. Yeah, I was interested to see when they're hosing it down how they would protect the interior. It'll look like they just sort of put a bag over it. It works. Dan, we don't talk about the two-wheel drive Sport Track. It was a four-wheel drive, but it had transmission issues, and the whole thing was just quite possibly the most boring thing I've ever driven. I've driven some boring things, but that Sport Track was painfully boring. Whereas this Flex is fun to drive. It's a tank, but it actually can turn, and it takes off with some real torque. It's fun. Oh, so nice. Oh yeah, there we go. Yes, sir. All right. Ooh, let's not get ahead of ourselves now. We've got some stuff to do here. Oh, guys, no need to fight here in the chat. This is a welcoming place where everybody's having fun. And if you're not, it's your own damn fault. Okay, so 5 top secret car cleaning hacks for beginners from Epic Car Show Detailing. Now, I do not vouch for the veracity of these claims. I do not vouch for the channels espousing these claims. All I'm doing is shining a light on it and watching it with you guys, and then we can all decide if there's actual merit there, if there's a point to it, or if it's just, you know, some clickbaity bullshit. So let's watch. Let's find out. What would Epic Car Show Detailing have to say regarding 5 top secret car cleaning hacks for beginners? What makes them top secret? Why are we not telling other people about these?
This is a cheap and cheerful pet dryer, but I like to use it as a car dryer instead. And I'm sure some of you watching this are probably going to be thinking that it's only good for that one purpose, drying cars, of course. But I'm here to prove otherwise, because in this video I'm going to be revealing 5 genius hacks that you can use with one of these machines that will not just save you loads of time,
devious hacks.
It's also going to save you a lot of hard work. Hack number 1, blowing out all the dirt from inside the car. Whether you're doing a full valet or just an interior valet, it's always a great idea to empty the car first, because you really want to start with a blank canvas. And once you get your car complete...
Okay, normally I try not to just immediately comment on someone's appearance, but I can't not see that this guy has like elven ears. He's got a point going on at each ear, and he just looks like he should have been casted in Lord of the Rings. Anyway, moving along.
Completely empty, and we're talking about removing the mats from inside the vehicle and in the boot as well. You can get your pet dryer, or car dryer in this case, and give it a good blowout from either the front to the back or the left to the right. Now, you're not going to be able to get every single piece of dirt out. It doesn't work like that, because you've got a center console as well. So you are going to still sort of be blowing bits from one side to the other, but that doesn't matter, because you're going to be reducing that dirt by at least 50%. Hack number 2, using a car dryer to clean your mats.
Got an Alaskan and a Canadian fighting each other in the comments.
Now, think about this for one moment.
I do have a bad habit of pausing on somebody's face at the least flattering time. This time he got lucky, although he's giving some strange hand gestures. But other than that, he's okay when I paused here. I just had to make sure we're all getting along. All right, moving on.
If you've got fabric mats and you've got loads of grit and dirt and rocks on it, most people would normally say get out a drill brush. But the problem with that is as soon as you start drilling a mat that is already like that, what you're going to find is it's going to start spinning up. It's going to flick bits of grit, dirt, rocks all up in your face. You get loads of dust in your eyes as well, and it's not...
Yeah, that's true. That's not fun at all, getting the stuff shot up in your face, the gritty stuff just from the dirt, the sand, anything like that. It's an unpleasant experience. But you know what does sound like a pleasant experience? 71 over here saying soaking my feet in hot O&R before using it on the car. Cheers. Is that advisable? Do you want your foot stew going on to the car, or is that just you know, made a couple separate buckets maybe, or I don't know. How are you doing that?
Not very pleasant. At least this way, if you blast the mats first, it's going to reduce the risk of causing any injuries, and it's going to make your life a little bit easier, and it's going to reduce wear and tear on those bristles on that brush. Hack number 3, speed up the drying process of your seats after a wet vac. Yep, it's a pretty easy one to discover, but for those of you who like cleaning your cars in the winter and you've got customers who say, look, we need to have these seats deep cleaned, wet vac, it's not very easy to get them dry. You can leave the engine running and the heaters on, but that's not good for the environment, and it's definitely not good for the client's budget.
Alex. Oh no, it's the exfoliator that the multi-level marketing mills can't sell with their Norwex towels and their shitty makeup. Oh, the foot stew gets encapsulated and goes to the bottom of the bucket. The magic of O&R. Yoshi, you're so right. That's absolutely true. I mean, it's doing what it's supposed to. You got to respect that. That's just how it works. Anyway, thank you for that note. 71, carry on. Alex, you're not wrong.
Either. So this is the most cost-effective way of getting those seats dry. And it's amazing, I've seen so many people try and shampoo seats where they've saturated them so much, they've wet vacked a good 90% of it, but there's still 10% left in there. And what you find is you get these horrible rings around the seats. Do this. This will solve all those problems. Now that you made it this far, I want you to stick around till the very end, because I'm going to be revealing a few more bonus hacks that you can use with one of these dryers. Hack number 4, did you know that using a car dryer is the best...
Oh, he's doing it on an Aston Martin Zagato. I can tell because of the shape of the grille and the fog lights. Hot car.
Way to finish off your car at the very end of the day. Most people who are mobile car cleaners don't really carry air compressors around, and one of the biggest problems they're going to face in their everyday life is the elements such as the weather. You're not in a studio, you haven't got that luxury. You're out and about in the elements, you're going to get lots of wind, rain, sun, sleet and hail. You name it, everything is going to get thrown at you. And when it comes to having the perfect car, when that client sees the car at the very end of the day, you want it to look spotless. And one of the problems that I used to find when I was...
It sounds like a move they would cast in The Witcher, like you cast a boner hex.
Doing this was, I'd work on a very hot day, everything's looking good, the car looks pretty much fantastic, so I've spent all day working on it. And then right at the end, when the client comes over, a huge gust of wind goes whoosh all over the car, it's covered in dust, and they look at you as if it's your fault. So the car dryer really does do a good job of assisting you getting rid of all that dust.
Us today, guys. Sorry.
At the very end, it's just nice to have a car that doesn't look like it's been covered in dust. Not everybody understands that that's what happens when you're outside in the elements. It's just the way of the business. Hack number 5, using one of these to clean your engine bay. Not everybody wants to be saturating their engine bay with loads of water because they worry about the electronics and things going wrong. So a lot of people tend to sort of skip that process and they delicately pick out all the leaves because they want to be very careful. Get yourself a car dryer. It will solve so many problems.
The Brits rightfully have a little bit of PTSD when it comes to car electronics. Just look up Lucas and you'll figure out the rest.
So as I featured it in a recent video as well, I used one of these car dryers and I blasted all the leaves away, and there's so much dust and other things that you can blast out. All you have to then do is either use a steam cleaner or you can use a trigger spray with a cloth, and you can pretty much get a satisfying engine bay clean. So I promised you a few more hacks, so here we go. Using one of these to keep
Here
on top of
come
your
the
polishing
boner
pads is
hacks.
a great idea, because what you are going to find is you're always going to get a regular build-up of compound if you're doing machine polishing, but not everybody, as I've previously mentioned, has an air compressor, so this is a good lightweight alternative. Now, there's nothing worse than having sand in the carpet. Sand is the root of all evil, especially if you've got VW carpets. Use one of these, blast out as much as possible, but keep the vacuum cleaner.
It's all staying there. It's just bouncing around and then landing back in more or less the same place.
And having it blow everywhere else. It's one thing.
Such a mess. Yoshi, my favorite washing a car outside is when the neighbor comes outside and starts mowing their lawn after seeing full well that I'm washing my car. Well, Yoshi, usually the follow-up to that is they either go and mow their lawn or they step out far enough to establish a line of sight, eye contact with you, and then they say the all-important words. And you know what those words are. Mine next. Yeah. How does it feel? I imagine it feels great. Okay, moving on.
Thing using one of these to blow some of the debris out of inside the car, but when it comes to sand, you've got to be very careful. So keep the nozzle from the hoover and the dryer together very close. As you blast it out, it will get sucked up into the hoover and it will speed up the process by a massive amount of time. The next hack is a great one, and it's looking after your wheel brushes. Now, let's be honest, wheel brushes are not the cheapest thing you can buy, but they are something you are going to have to regularly replace unless you go for the very expensive ones. So maintaining them is pretty critical. So at the end of every job, I like to rinse the brushes out and then give them a quick dry afterwards, but I don't hold the dryer too close. I want these to last as long as possible. As long as they get a nice light dry, I'll be happy. If you hold it that close, you're going to start pulling away some of the fibres, you're going to weaken the structure of it, and it's not going to last as long either. So there you have it, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I'll see you very soon.
You know what? Those are good points. I'm going to upvote that video. Good job, Epic Car Show Detailing. Good job. When I hear mine next, I start punching the car. Oh my God, you just go straight to, oh yeah, I'm about to cause some dents that weren't there before. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, and then it's done. I do that, but my driveway freezes too quickly. Oh, yikes. Yeah, no. Pressure washing the car in the driveway after work with about a foot of snow on the lawn. Dude. Dude. Okay, so I had a plan here. I was going to follow up that video, not knowing how it would go, because I haven't watched these videos before. We're finding out in real time how we all feel about them. Move to a non-tundra shell. Oh, you guys. Okay, now we're at more tips and tricks while detailing, thanks to Joel Detailing, a channel that has less than 7,000 subscribers. But you know what? I like seeing channels that are on the smaller side that give them some attention. I think that's good. There's a lot of good content that gets ignored because it's on a smaller channel that never gains traction. But kudos to Joel here, considering he has less than 7,000 subscribers. He managed to get 10,000 views on this video, so clearly did something right. Let's watch.
Welcome back, guys. It's Sal with Details, and we got 2 washes for you today. On this one here, we got this Honda van. We're going to do a full exterior wash. We're going to do a 1-step polish, and we also got some water spots that we're going to take care of. On this Dodge Ram, we got an exterior wash. So make sure you stick around because we got some tricks and tips for you, like always.
Got the slow motion going. Oh, in the crop zone. All done at 60 frames per second, the most cinematic frames per second. It's not, but I enjoy when I see stuff that gets sped up and it doesn't have cinematic frame rate. It's not that big of a deal. I'm a nerd.
We have 2 vehicles that just need exterior, full exterior
But I will say, this is a man with glasses and a beard I can trust.
detailing with 1-step polishes. We have the 4x4 limited Dodge Ram here, and then we have the Honda Odyssey. So this one had water spots, so we did an acid bath, and we just completed the wash.
Wes Oaks Car Cleaning Guru
with
is
the
fantastic.
synthetic clay.
Yes.
And then we're doing a...
The Car Cleaning Guru does have a ton of followers, and rightfully so. I mean, just listening to him talk is very relaxing. He talks like he talks like Paul Rudd's version of John Lennon in Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. Like, There's no limit to what you can imagine.
A
I don't know why, but
this
that's
guy, we're
always
just
stuck
doing
in my head
exterior
all the time.
wash
It just
and
takes
one-step
anything
polish.
could possibly trigger
Got
it.
it.
Yeah.
So I see a couple cars here.
Yes.
Do you ever try to, you know,
No, these guys like the Range Rovers.
try to do all of them, or you just come to do the job?
No, this client was actually recommended to me from another client. They were referred to me. We've actually corrected and coded both of these Range Rovers back here. After we did those guys, we did this guy 1 week, we did this Range Rover 1 week, we did this one the second week.
Back to bare bones. I mean, don't you all rinse off water spots with aircraft stripper? Sure, if I'm feeling psychotic. You don't get those glasses of beer without a little acid hit. Fair. No, there was probably an adventure some point in someone's life. I wouldn't put it past anybody. You know, having that combo that definitely, you know, maybe he's a few decades late. He seems like he's on the younger side, but man, you got to look out. This is the same video, dude, as Hunter's Mobile Detailing. I mean, I actually enjoyed watching a couple of Hunter's Mobile Detailing's videos. Those weren't bad. Or if you own a DeLorean. Back to bare bones chose violence today. Oh boy. And the guy went from water spots to acid bat. Yeah, no, it's what you do. It's what you do. It talks like the Wallace and Gromit claymation. Oh man, I grew up on those things, man. They were great.
And then he asked if we could do his daily
Anyway,
drivers.
we'll see what they do.
We're doing it. He's a dealer, so we're
Oh,
doing
built
these daily
Hondas in
drivers as
04?
well.
Yeah, I can totally
customer
see
right there,
that.
man.
Yeah, good customer, and he's not asking for dealership prices. Like he's paying our full, you know, our full tag price.
Did he at first was like, Joel, I'm gonna hook you up with a lot of cars, hook me up?
No, he didn't take that approach. Usually when I get that approach, I shut him down. I'm like, no, I'm not that kind of detailer. Let me refer you to somebody. But he came in, and I think since he was referred, he had seen one of my client's vehicles who has a red Tesla. So once he saw those vehicles, he had the two black Range Rovers and wanted those guys done.
Hey,
so.
that word of mouth, man.
Yeah, that made it a lot easier.
Makes a
Hey,
difference.
Joel, so I know it's been raining a little bit
Yes.
over here in the Stockton area.
Is this cameraman literally the same cameraman as the one who does Hunter's Mobile Detailing stuff? That's not the case, right? It kind of sounds like him, I guess. It's been a minute since I watched one of his videos, but is it literally the same guy, or is it just kind of does the same thing where he's like a cameraman who asks questions? Because I did notice that about the other one, and I kind of actually like that approach, where it's kind of like a third party just throwing their 2 cents out there, and then the detailer's like going, well, actually, or, you know, explaining. It helps more, in my opinion. That's how I like to approach detailing videos. It sounds identical. Yeah, no, so that's why I'm kind of like, huh.
Huh?
Oh,
Has it
that's
affected
a
business?
gym move.
No,
for sure,
I haven't
Alex.
had any days off.
That's a
even the
gym
few days
fit
that it
right
did
there.
rain,
You do a fit check, that's a
clients
guy
had
in a
me
gym.
work.
Right
I did
there.
one car. First time I ever did a car, interior and exterior in the rain.
Wait,
Back to
before,
bare bones.
during,
I've
or
never heard
after
of
the rain?
Aviana aircraft
I
detailing.
started the vehicle. I started the interior
I'll
first.
have to check that out sometime.
And I started around 9 o'clock. And
If you have a good
forecast
example,
was
feel
saying
free
that
to
it was
throw a
supposed to rain
link
around
here in
11.
the
By
chat,
the
and
time
I'll
I
check
got
it
to the
out
outside,
later.
as soon as I was done with the final, I did the drying aid. As soon as I got to the final rinse, the rain started coming down. So I dried up as much as I could. I blew, you know, off as much as I could. But as I was going through doing the final wipe down with the bead maker, it started sprinkling. So
I was gonna say, I see him holding PNS bottles, so
I did the one quick wipe down, put the tire shine on, and as soon as I was done, it was just sprinkling heavily, you know, all over the entire car.
And what do you do in that situation? Like,
That was it. I was done with the detail. It was clean.
Yeah.
You know, it's not gonna get any. You know, there was no trees above it, which is
Okay.
very good, because if there's trees above it, what happens is all the debris that's on the branches and leaves, all that falls on the clean surface of the car, and you know, and then it dries up. But it was a good client. She knew the weather. They were more concerned with the interior, but the exterior did have protection on it, so it was, you know.
okay, it's starting to rain. How do you protect your cords?
So what I've been doing now is me and Sal are looking for a solution. We found this little guy here. You'll find the link in the description below.
oh, that's a cable connector protector. Not a bad move if you're potentially afraid of getting something actually wet and it's not made for it.
So this guy is actually going to help us keep not only the outlets protected and together, Like it keeps them locked in together, but it also prevents any water from getting into any of the electrical. So
It's a simple
great
enough concept.
solution. It's along the lines as these guys, which is also
Good God, though, these mics are blown out, dude. gotta tweak that, brother.
linked in there. Same type of thing. Anything that's gonna save time.
That's a
brings
detail
value to
guard
your,
style
to your
thing, yeah.
business. Yeah, I have a lot of equipment. I spent a lot of time researching equipment and what I want and making sure that it's the best quality. We're gonna get a few different upgrades in the van, you know.
The
Pressure
big boy
washer,
blower's a
but once
nice
that goes
touch, though.
out-
Those
but for the
those are
most part,
nice.
All of the tools that I use make my job so much easier, you know.
Hey, it seems like you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Let's say there's somebody out there starting.
seem like you know what you're
a detailing
talking about.
business.
Like
They don't
level
wanna
Spinal
call you,
Tap.
get some advice, help them with their business. Where can they reach you at?
Yeah, in the link below, we have one-on-one
I was gonna say, I know a gauntlet when I see it, man. That's a fine towel he's got on his shoulder. Good call.
consulting line where you can reach out to me. We can discuss anything, you know, from business, training and development.
Just for that, I'm giving him an
on-site
upvote.
detailing, process, procedure, efficiencies, anything that's going to help your business, client services, interactions, communication, all of that can be covered.
And in fairness about the whole acid bath thing, I have seen Levi take a similar tack sometimes on certain cars will do, where it's just like he takes one look at it and goes, yeah, no, this is definitely going to be a quick
Hey,
acid
Sal,
bath
so
situation.
you're gonna
Like,
have to
I
take out
just
the water
need
spots
to get rid of
on
all
this
these
car
water
right
spots
here.
in one fell
Yes.
And
swoop.
you're using a
Knock
do
it
you
out,
used
but
to
be
use
safe
something
about it.
different, like a polish or
Just for efficiency's sake,
well,
they're getting it
acid.
You
done.
can use acid, depending on, you know, like what part of the detail you want to do it in. This vehicle here, we see little water spots here, which generally pile up quite a, you know,
LSD
pretty
wash for the
regularly.
win.
This is something that you're going to see on a lot of vehicles. Hard
That's
water
normal.
staining and, you know, just oxidation, hard water staining, and mineral deposits that are left behind from hard water. So with this, we have a paste, it's a metal polish and window cleaner, and it has grit to it, so what it does is it'll help remove any kind of water spotting. Like not prevent, it'll remove actually. All right guys, so we have quite
Now that part's interesting, but the Odyssey basket life top and rear, yes. Of all about that Odyssey basket life, when you got a van, but you got to hold more stuff than even the van can carry, or you got dirty things that you don't want to put in your van, then the basket and or the rack are the move. I get it. I can understand that. One thing I was going to point out, though, was like the way he was going, not him, but this guy was going here. It always makes me nervous ever since what happened during the Project Car Challenge when working around windshield wipers that are turned up like that. I get this feeling in the pit of my stomach where I fear bumping into that thing, and next thing you know, it just winds up smacking down into the windshield and cracking it, which is what happened to the Z3 project car I had when we were doing our TRC series. That was a lot of fun, but at the same time, man, I just got to be ready to have something to, you know, something tied, like something soft tied to the actual windshield wiper arm, so that if it ever does swing down, it's like a cushion when it hits. Just something to soften the blow. Otherwise, that can get pretty ugly pretty fast. Instagram, Cooler Breaker. Camera guy sounds like Rudy, aka Cooler Breaker. I'm familiar with this guy. Let's see. Oh, nice. Yeah, all right. Oop, wrong thing. Moving on.
and it has grit to it, so what it does is it'll help remove any kind of water spotting. Like not prevent, it'll remove actually. All right guys, so we have quite a bit of, you know, heavy mud in here. We got some mud
That's
tires on the
normal,
vehicle,
yeah.
some mud through here. What I have on here instead of my normal nozzle, so this is my normal nozzle here. This is a turbo nozzle. This
I was
guy is
gonna
actually
say, that one's gonna do the
orifice is gonna be a little
spirally
bit
motion.
smaller, and it's going to
It basically kind of like agitates. I learned this in the pressure washer simulator.
rotate as
Yep.
I pull the trigger. If you notice, it has a circular shape.
It's like a Tornador, but for your pressure washer nozzle.
This thing is actually a lot stronger. It probably adds about another 25% PSI to this. So I use it to get into the wheel wells, you know, some tires and rims that are heavy. You don't really want to get too close to the body with this guy, but from a distance, you know, if you want to hit it lightly, it's not going to do much. But again, to be on the safe side, I wouldn't even use it on the paint. But it's great to knock off the excess for these guys, where you can't do it with your normal pressure
You're gonna
washer.
hear that thing buzzing like an old World War II bomber.
Just gives it a little bit of extra PSI and a little extra push that you may need to get some of this heavier grit off. And if you're interested in the turbo nozzle, I'll have the link in the description below.
All right, Joel, what else do we have left, man?
Smart
have,
YouTuber right there in front.
We're gonna hit the car with bead maker and do the wheels, and then we're pretty
see
much
Uno
done.
in his hand.
There's a couple little water spots on the windows. We got some incredible shine just from the wash, but it looks like, no, there's some damage here. All through here you have a scratch that kind of goes through. It's a little deeper here, but what I'm gonna try to do is I'm just gonna give a complimentary little polish by hand. I'm just gonna put a little bit of
Uno by hand. Interesting. Rudy's nickname is his porn star name, am I right? Sounds like a warthog gun.
we press Uno on a
that
microfiber
stuff sounds
towel,
crazy.
and let's see what result we get. If we don't get great results, that's okay, because this is just a complimentary service, but I'm pretty sure we can get some good results right here.
All right, so I see a couple scratches around the car. Mm-hmm. If this does work, would you do the extra would you do the rest for free, or would you tell them, hey, look, this is what I was able to do. Do you want to book something for later on?
No, he's not really looking for, these are his personal vehicles, so he's not looking for, you know, for perfection in the paint work. You know, there's
The guy's
there's some
realistic.
damage
He
he's
knows what he
aware of.
wants, and he's not
looks
going
like this
beyond
guy
that.
was
I get it. I can
kind of
understand
scraped the side going through somewhere. So these little ones, that one came out really well. So I'm probably just gonna hit these guys. If they don't come out,
Well, yeah, but like
good.
right next to his arm here, you can see that fender flare right there. It's like straight up cracked, probably like 4/5 of the way through from the top down. It's pretty hit there. Yeah, culo equals ass in Spanish. I'm not surprised.
gonna be so fine to the eye where you can barely even catch it.
Hey, that one did come out pretty good, man.
Yeah, you can't even really see it.
Good job.
It's a little heavier here, but yeah. See, and you don't always have to pull out the polisher
Noted,
to get
Wes. I'll have to check that out later.
good results, you know. And this is complimentary. It took me, what, 2 minutes?
I mean, that actually did a fair amount,
Hey,
considering it
maybe
was
that's
just
why you
hand
keep
polishing.
getting that word of mouth.
Yeah.
Doing those little extras for your customers.
Yeah, and it's knowing when to do them.
Okay, hold on. I kind of want to
Ow.
see what rig
Yeah.
he's. Oh, yeah.
Doing those little
Okay.
extras for your.
So this guy's literally just got a cell phone on a gimbal here, and that's it. That's all that's being used to shoot this. That's not a dig, but what that is to say that you can go out and do this. If you're interested in doing this kind of stuff, there's nothing really stopping you. If you got a phone and you spend like $100 on a gimbal, or even if you just set up a static stand with a cheap tripod or something, you can do this stuff too. I could, but I choose not to do it because I get enough of it in my daily life. But, you know, I don't mind talking about it here. This part's fun. But yeah, for anybody who wants to go out there and like try making a YouTube channel, I encourage anybody who feels like, oh, maybe I have something worth saying. Go out, try it. Nothing wrong with trying.
Your customers.
Yeah, and it's knowing when to do them, when not to do them, and how to do them.
And I know creature edgeless when I see it, which is what he's using
and
here.
it took me a while to learn the
wipe on
processes of
the
how
Rupas
to
Uno.
get quick results by hand or from certain methods that aren't going to take me long. Because before I would pull a polisher out and do all this work, and next thing you know, I'm here for another 20, 30 minutes, you know, and that's time.
They're coming out nice.
Yeah, this is all technique. This is all technique.
He's not wrong. He did a good job there. The only thing I'm trying to figure out is like branding wise. I see all his stuff like branded saying details on it,
All right, so.
but the channel is
How's it
called
going,
Joel
man?
Detailing.
Oh,
so
today went well. We just got done. These two
I feel like there's just something missing in the branding. Like if you're called Details, you call your channel something like that. I understand maybe that was already taken. I wouldn't be surprised if it was, but something up there. I'm just curious.
Vehicles, we went taking home 550.
550?
Yes, sir. All right, guys, so there you have it. Hope you enjoy the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share. Thank you, guys.
Hey, stop.
Oh,
How come we
heck,
have you
I'll
on the
give you a
camera now?
subscribe.
What's going on?
I'm curious
man,
to see more from you guys, not just because I recognize the products you're using, but it's a good touch too. I also like that he's using a Rode Wireless Go mic. I'm a big fan of those too. So yeah, you know, just don't blow them out. You don't have to blow them out.
Just trying to get better. You know what I mean?
You gonna be more part of the videos?
As things keep growing, I gotta grow.
Coolo details. I need to make more for the talk. Really takes effort to stop what you're doing and film it. Big respect to people like Jamie. Absolutely. No, that's true. And speaking of Jamie, haven't seen him here tonight. What's the deal? Is he busy? What's going on? Anyway, I'm sure Alex knows. Those guys keep touch regularly. But anyway, yeah. No, I'm just curious, popping through, checking it out. But you're right. Yeah, it does take effort. And when you're not in the zone mentally, you can't be bothered to do it. Kind of like how when I stream here, I have to be in the right headspace to do it. Oftentimes, I am in the right headspace to do it. I'm happy to do it. But other times, I just kind of feel like, no, I just need to let my head rest for a while, not be thinking all the time, just chill out, watch some like mind-numbing TV or something, just kind of buzz out, or go for a walk or something. You know, just other basic stuff. But, you know, when I'm not doing that and I do feel like streaming, that's when you'll find me here. So, yeah, if you notice I don't stream as much as some other people, it can happen from time to time. I just don't want to, you know, get that burnout, right? I want to make sure that when I do this is because I want to, and then I think that makes it a better environment for everybody too, because I feel like it's much nicer to watch someone who clearly wants to be there, right? But anyway, moving along here, we've got, well, we wrapped up more tips and tricks. Now I'm on to a little non-detailing related thing. That's right. I just wanted to watch somebody doing an off-road test drive of the new 911 Dakar, because that is quite possibly one of the coolest new cars that's come out in the last little bit here. And I'm sure they will all be bought up and it'll be hard to find, but point remains, it's an off-road Porsche 911. We love these, at least I do. I'm a big fan of Safari Porsches, but you know, it's cool that Porsche themselves are actually doing it now. And then after this, I've got some cool detailing videos waiting in the wings, so don't go too far. That's gnarly. The thing's totally armored underneath, too. Heck yeah, I love this. Oh, these must be the pre-production ones, because the production one has the GT3 style hood where it's got the nostrils on it, like the intakes, or at least the vents. These ones don't have that, so these are like pre-production ones. Oh, Alex, when I lost the mic at SEMA, did a Dyer actually get lost? It actually got lost. Anthony found a hole in his pocket, and he thinks it fell out of his pocket. So, we never found it. It's gone forever. Unfortunately, that means I need to go buy another $300 mic set, which I'm not super stoked about, but I really love those mics for live streams, so I didn't want to, you know, not have them. Heck yeah. So basically, if you're watching this and cringing because, oh my god, why are they doing that to an 911? What you need to understand is Porsche has developed this thing from the ground up to be able to do this stuff. Now, this particular one you're looking at is definitely a pre-production model, so it doesn't have like the finalized underbody armor and all that kind of stuff. But they're designed to be able to handle a lot of shit. And these tires are specially developed for them too. An interesting fact is that this Porsche 911, being the Dakar, is technically the slowest top-speed Porsche 911 for sale today. And that's because with all the off-road bits, they limit it to about 140 miles per hour. But, I mean, you'll be all right. Like one of those mics I was wearing when I visited? Yes. Yeah. One of those little wireless go ones. Just like you saw the guy in the video had on his shirt. Taking notes for work. Proposed Nismo build Safari R35 for SEMA. Dude, I would think that was rad. I mean, it's already all-wheel drive. Okay, that's some pretty cool drone work. Ooh, that was a sick shot. Okay, this is really sick camera work. Love it. God, I love 360 cameras when they're used well. So freaking cool. So, Dan, that individually was not $300, but the set, 2 mics and a receiver, is around $300. The issue comes with the fact that you can't just buy one or the other. You have to buy the set. I've seen out there you can buy one mic, but it comes with one receiver, which means then that you have 2 receivers and they can only be used one at a time. It's clunky. It's not really what you want. So yeah, the road tax, but damn it, they're good mics, man. He's booking it. Look at him go. Hell yeah. Now that is how you drive it. I love that. Well, like, if you've never experienced like a Porsche 911, it's really interesting in how, God, he's flying. The traction works. Like, even in non-4-wheel drive format, if you just have a rear-wheel drive Porsche 911, you get so much grip. Just because that engine is hanging out over the rear wheels, it just gives you way more grip than it normally would experience, but it's awesome. In the snow, it handles fantastic, but when you do 4-wheel drive, like the Porsche Dakar, that's what you get. I think one of the Porsche salesmen here ordered the Dakar. He has a GT3 already. The body dynamics are so different. Yeah, for real. It makes all the difference in the world. No, like, cold weather traction, snow traction in a 911 is totally different than pretty much any other car, because there's just nothing else made that has an engine that far back. Not like on a currently produced sports car or really any kind of car. I mean, I'm not counting like K cars that have the frickin' engine hanging off the rear too, but you know, by normal standards. And 360 footage is awesome. Yeah, so this is basically just footage of it out there hooning, which I find awesome, but at the same time, I know some people are going to want to see some more detailing stuff too. Just check and see if they got anything. Man, they got every environment here covered. Oh, and then they get to the Rothman style one there at the end. Yeah, this guy's definitely not having any fun. Did you see the angle on that? And he's still managing to keep the line. He totally went flat, just full sideways, and he still managed to keep it drifting. That's the beauty of all-wheel drive in that case. Reverse entry 911. Wow. Careful what crowds you say that in. Jeez. Oh, the sound too. Love the sound. Now see, this one looks a little closer to production because this one's got the nostrils on it. It's got the GT3 style hood. So basically, if you're not familiar with like all the stuff going on with the Porsche Dakar, the 911 Dakar is essentially like a mixture of a Carrera 4S, which is the four-wheel drive, the high-performance base Carrera, high-performance version, more power with a four-wheel drive system. But then it's also crossed with GT3 parts, like the hood, the lighter weight, a lot of carbon fiber stuff all mixed together. And then it actually takes some items from the turbo and a few other things as well, but it blends them all together. Oh, yes. And by the way, adjustable height suspension because of course. And yeah, no, it's sick. So this is actually a production model here, I think. Yeah, this is what the production one looks like. I mean, you can get other colors and stuff, but yes, Wes Oaks. I'm totally familiar with what reverse entry actually means in drift terms. I was just saying something about saying reverse entry 911 sounds like you're making a different kind of joke. Yikes. Anyway, yes, brap for sure. Oh my god, this is awesome. You're nasty. That's nasty. Yes. And the funny thing is, even the quote non-turbo model, I mean the trim level, the lower trim Porsches, 911s that aren't the turbo, still have turbos now. They all have turbos now. So it's cool because you actually get a twin turbo even on the base model now, which means tuning, you have all sorts of options, even in the lowest form. But this one will have plenty of options. God, that's so cool! That's a bucket list car for me. Oh my god, and they got the classic Rothman. Oh, it's so nice. I love that so much. That's badass. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, even the Taycan says turbo, which is still hilarious to me that you have turbo written on the electric car. That's because in the lexicon of Porsche, turbo means more than simply having a turbo. To the people who buy the cars who don't know jack shit about cars and they choose to buy it because turbo meant it was the highest model for a long time, they just think it means that's the highest model, that's the best trim. Do you know what a turbo is, sir? Well, I've heard they make the car go faster, but I don't really know. Yeah, it means super duper. Oh, God. Yeah, so some people just think turbo means best. Okay, that was kind of loud there at the end. Anyway, that was some Porsche 911 Dakar goodness. Now we are moving along to a Contempo concept video where they restore a Honda NSX-R. Right.
Here comes the big one, ladies and gentlemen. An NSX Type R has just arrived in our showroom. Only 150 NA2Rs were ever made, making this one of the most sought-after JDM cars ever. Very fortunate that we were able to snatch this up from a collector. With only 33,000 kilometers traveled, this is one pristine example. Looking at the current condition, most people would be highly satisfied with it, but being that we're super OCD people, we know this can be made even better. So let's start with our restoration project. First off, we can see the wheels have some non-original, poorly painted on NSXR logos and some paint chips. Then the calipers have a hideous home DIY red paint job. Referring to the original catalog, we can see that the calipers should actually be dark gray. Not a problem as we take them into the paint booth for a fresh coat.
Holy stabilization, Batman.
As you notice, we have mounted the new tires on the wheels before we started to paint. This is a trick to prevent the tire mounting machine from scratching up the new paint. After the paint is fully cured, we simply pump up the tires and they're ready to go. While the parts are being painted, the car gets a shower. The paint condition looks excellent. No stone chips and no deep scratches whatsoever. With the car up in the air, we're giving its undercarriage and suspension components a good detailing. They are already really clean, but we want all road dirt and grime to be gone, so a few man hours and elbow grease are required.
We're going over the top. the suspension on these is really nice too.
Once done, it's super satisfying.
Item off to paint. All right, Dan, you have fun doing that.
Aluminum chassis, you can see
Paint
the
happy little
17-year-old
trees.
car has zero rust whatsoever, looking like a brand new car. Exhaust tips get some metal polishing, and up next is installing new Honda brake discs and pads, which is a very straightforward job.
I enjoy how easy these guys make everything look.
Before putting the newly painted wheels back on, we're applying a few layers of glass coating to help protect them from the elements. Maybe it's just us, but we love to see clean white wheels, and the coating will help do just that. And of course, we also purchased new Honda wheel nuts for this project.
Of course. Gotta have all the right bits and pieces.
With the car back on the ground, the next task we tackle is the interior. The car came with a very outdated alarm immobilizer system, so we'll need to get rid of that. Plus, we have a few new interior parts to install as well. We begin by clearing out all interior parts, as the alarm system
I forgot
is
how
hidden
cool
well
those
behind
seats
the
are.
dash and under the carpets.
Yeah. The whole appeal of this channel is they really do get into the nitty-gritty. And we're just gonna disassemble everything, literally everything.
And here we have it, one stripped out NSX interior. You can see all this non-factory wiring integrated into the original harnesses.
Whoa.
Most people would be intimidated by the sheer complexity, but it's really just a matter of tracing.
I was gonna say,
all
yeah,
connections to
me.
their origins. Piece
I'm
by
intimidated
piece, we
looking
carefully
at that.
Get rid of the aftermarket parts and reinstate the OEM wiring. Job done, and just look at the amount of surplus equipment we're able to strip away.
Oh my god.
The interior detailing can begin.
That is so much
First,
shit.
a bit of
What the?
vacuuming to pick up all the loose debris.
That was all just for a friggin' aftermarket alarm system. Jesus.
With everything out of the way, our first
What a
new
waste
item
of
is very
wiring.
simple to install. The old handbrake leather has gone very shiny, so a new one was ordered. A few bolts and a little bit of fine tuning and it's good to go. With the floor carpets out of the car, it's a great time to give them a deep cleansing.
Well, I'm glad you're liking it, Wes, because yeah, no, I find these to be fascinating. It's like they explain what they're doing, but they don't waste a lot of time going
of carpet
too
cleaner
deep
and hot
into it.
water
But
extraction
you can
makes
tell
them
they
look
went deep with
brand
it. It's
new
just the idea of it is really cool.
Other carpeted panels get a cleaning too, and while we're at it, the floor mats receive the same deep cleansing treatment.
Yeah, just for perspective though, the channel here is called Contempo Concept. And they're one of those channels that at least Anthony and I, coworker Anthony, both really enjoy like checking out their stuff. They do excellent work, but their channel is really interesting, and it's kind of underloved in my opinion. I think it's kind of underrated because they're not even to 74,000 subscribers yet. They're close, but they deserve to be a much bigger channel than that. Just for the quality of the stuff they're putting out there. It's interesting, and I don't see other detailing type channels that do quite this type of work. Like, yes, there's restoration channels, and yes, there's detailing channels, but this kind of operates as sort of a hybrid between the two. I like it. And yeah, I know there's some one-offs on other channels that'll do that kind of
Before
thing.
we put the
But
interior
these guys
trims
make a
back
pretty
in the
regular
car,
habit
we
of
give
it.
each individual item a steam clean. We can do a much more thorough cleaning job while the parts are out of the car, as there are no more places which are too hard to reach. Now comes the fun bit, as we can finally start to assemble the parts back into the car. Carpets go in first, then other parts one by one.
And down to the seals, all that stuff. That's when you know, like, you can't do a
We've
more
got new
thorough
rubber
job
door
than
seals
that.
too, so we pop them into place before installing the door panels.
That's gonna be like a brand freaking new car when it's done. It's like it
Now
just
the
came
dash
off the
goes back
showroom
into the
floor.
car. The old center dash bezel was cut open at some point to fit an aftermarket head unit.
Yeah.
Not to worry, we ordered a new bezel and original head unit to revert everything back to stock.
Wow.
The temperature sensor intake is clogged and filthy, so we give it a good clean with some compressed air before fitting it back into the console. Other parts make their way back in, piece by piece.
Oh yeah, no, that's the thing about this is like those parts probably haven't been produced for a hot minute, and to get the right ones to go into an NSX Type R, you're paying a healthy sum for that. I wouldn't doubt it. Now the nice thing about an NSX versus other supercars is that the NSX did do some parts bin sharing with other, Honda products from the time. So you can pull like an Accord thing here, Civic thing there. There are some carryover bits when it comes to like window switches or things like that. But same time, I mean, you can probably use the part numbers for like other cars that also shared the parts with it, even if they won't say it's like NSX specific. You could probably get away with it in some cases, I would think. However, on this particular car, this is like a total collector's deal. I'm fairly certain that this is one where they treat it like money is no object. Just do it right. Yeah, they are getting into it.
Now onto the seat detailing, and first we take away the cushions. A bit of steam cleaning and some mild foam detergent to cleanse the fabric cover. For the seat
going
cushions,
right down to
we
the
separate
foam.
the foam underneath, as it makes cleaning the covers a lot more effective.
Wow.
A delicate touch is required to trim the pills off the fabric covers to make sure they will have zero blemishes when we install them back to the car.
Yeah, no, anything for a 90s Japanese sports car in particular, that stuff is where all the prices just shoot through the roof.
We're almost there now. New steering wheel is a must, and with that, we also ordered new screws. An easy installation, and it will make a great visual impact on an already like-new interior. And
That's
here
one
comes
case
the
where
final
Momo
piece
does
of the
not look
puzzle,
out of
a
place.
brand new
It's
titanium
right.
shift knob. Super satisfying to spin on this last piece, which completes our interior restoration.
Wow. It's so simple, and yet so much work went into that.
As mentioned, the paint is in great condition, but still, we want it to pop just like a new car. So we're spending a few days on polishing each and every body panel, making certain there are
use of the
zero
eye
defects.
And the rotary. You know, it's
New side-
interesting. You don't see a lot of YouTube channels that use the Rupa's rotary for stuff. Like, they get used a lot in shops around the world, but pretty much anytime you see a Rupa's in a detailing video, it's going to be one of their DAs, probably a Bigfoot 21 or 15, depending on, people's tastes. I find the 15 to be the better detailing one, but 21s can knock out big panels fast. But anyway, it's just interesting seeing the rotary used.
NSXR badges are easily applied, and we've also got new wiper blades.
Of course.
Now that the paint is mega glossy and shiny, we then apply 3 layers of nano titanium glass coating, which creates a rock-hard physical barrier to protect the paint. It makes future car washes a lot easier too, as the glass coating is super water repellent. And there we have it. Our NSX Type R refresh has been completed.
What a beauty. And you do this like super baller footage at the end. Doesn't even look real. That is loud, sorry guys. never checked out LHT Performance, super detailed Honda mechanical work. I'm sure Anthony's familiar with them. I'm not familiar with them, but I'm sure Anthony is. So clean.
Yep, so this is the NSX Type R. I can tell you right now, this is the best JDM driver's car. Now we've already done a review on this, of course, so you can either click here or you can check the link in the description below. Now back to this particular car. Now the moment I saw it, the exterior is spotless and the interior is even more impressive. From what I can see,
that makes sense,
feel and
Wes,
smell,
yeah.
everything is brand new. And the engine feels as strong as ever. Just listen to her sing as the VTEC kicks in. Absolutely invigorating. This car is going to be going to one very lucky owner. Again, only 150 of these were made, so it makes it a super collectible car. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video and see you again soon.
150 made. For perspective, that makes it like 10, 20 times more rare than a Ferrari F40. Like, people have this misconstrued idea. I think I talked about this in a previous stream where people think the Ferrari F40 is like super rare, when in fact, of the special edition Ferraris, it's actually much less rare than the F50, than the Enzo, even than the LaFerrari, although I feel like I've seen more LaFerraris in my life than... which sounds crazy, but I've been to events where they are, and it's just a thing. But yeah, 150 examples is not a lot. And of course, then somebody will counter, say, "Oh, what about this one-off supercar from the Middle East or something?" It's like, yeah, but those, they designed that with the sole purpose of it being like the ultra rare whatever. When in this case, it was like, I don't know. There's a certain amount of prestige that goes into, oh, they did a limited number on a given, car because that was a choice. As opposed to like, we can only afford to build a handful of these because we spent our whole budget building the one. Stupid rare. Hell, it took me 3 years to find a perfect car that were 3,000 made. Yeah. Anyway, Contempo Concept is an awesome channel that you all should check out. LHT did great work with Matt at OG. Yeah, so I will save that in the memory bank for later. I'll check those out. And I'm sure Anthony's at least familiar with him, but I'll run it by him again. So actually, before I go to this next one, I'm going to, so this is the next one I want to do. These guys do a restoration on a Tommy Mäkinen edition Mitsubishi Lancer Evo. So I'm excited for that. And this is probably my favorite generation of Mitsubishi Evo. Something about the way they look is just super cool to me. So anyway, let's go ahead and watch this one.
Okay, let's cut to the chase. Watching this footage right now, you're wondering why would this beautiful Tommy Mäkinen Evolution need a restoration? Well, at a distance this car does look decent indeed. The car has done 78,000 kilometers, so it's definitely not a low mileage garage queen. But if you look closer, there are many flaws. Most obvious is the poor paint condition. The previous paint job is simply horrendous. You can see many areas with paint defects. As you might expect with this amount of mileage, chips can be seen all over the car, but with some really messy touch-ups. Most of the stickers have seen better days. The most utterly shocking bits are the rear wing stickers. Somebody had masked them, then painted over the stickers, leaving a wildly uneven paint edge. A 5th grade art project would look better than this.
Ouch,
the front headlamps
dude.
had gone all yellowish,
Shots
and the car
fired.
came with this nasty aftermarket exhaust.
Oh, it's so nasty.
The interior overall is not too bad. We can tell the car had been parked outdoor for some time, as the black velour had faded and the steering wheel is also very worn out.
Oh.
So nothing too major, and we can definitely give her a makeover. First step is to take all the seats away. Condition is not too bad, but we can see some wear on the embroidered lettering. The usual bolster wear on the driver's side, but there is a more important issue. Most of the black velour receives so much UV exposure that it has turned purple.
Oof.
So we take the seats to our local upholstery shop, where the plan is to retrim and replace only the black fabric panels and reuse the middle red area. So we select the best stitching and velour color match and leave the guys to do their magic. Back to the shop, and we've got all new rubber trims and seals for the bodywork. Ready for the car to receive the infamous Passion Red, specifically made for the...
Oh, Wes, we have one of these in the basement where the Nissan Heritage Collection lives. Wild little car. No, I absolutely love these. Like, I'm not a big Mitsubishi guy by any means. I like specific models. Like, I like the Pajero Evo, and I like the Evo 6 and Evo 5. And the Evo 9. Like, Anthony's is definitely, if I was going to get a modern Evo, at least closest thing to a modern one, I would get that. The 10s are, like, non-existent to me. I could care less about the 10s. But, yeah, no. I would want an Evo wagon, though. That's my thing. Find me an Evo 9 wagon, and we're game. And a 3000 GT VR4, that's definitely a car I was interested in when I was in high school, for sure. I bought an SVX. That was my first car I bought with my own money. But, yeah, no, 3000 GT, kind of in a similar vein. Also, a Z32 300ZX was also kind of in that vein.
Evo TME.
Yeah, so these guys do, like, everything. This is a stem to stern, full meal deal kind of shop. And most importantly, they are very good at it.
Once out of the paint booth, the next step is to put the car up on the hoist and get the wheels off. Now we can finally get that hideous aftermarket exhaust out of the way, and
He really freaking hates that exhaust. I mean, I know it's, to me, it just looks like a standard JDM Hot Boy exhaust they'd throw onto a lot of different, JDM cars, but he really friggin' hates that exhaust.
undercarriage can get a good detailing, getting rid of all road dirt and grime.
It's hard to give this one back to the owner. Oh, let's check it out. Ah, yes. Classic Z32. They are. Like, I feel like they went underappreciated for a very long time, but I always found the super, like, aerodynamic, smooth design of it, especially the rear treatment, was really just awesome, clean. The little hand. It's just such a clean car, but yeah, it's a shame there's no pictures of the rear, because I find that to be my favorite part of the 300ZX. But no, like, great car. I could totally understand why it'd be a challenge to give that one back.
Brake calipers receive special attention. Next up, the intercooler. It has a bit of surface oxidation, so we're using some fine steel wool to get rid of it, and the fins will also get a deep cleansing. Low pressure water to rinse off the intercooler, then we can proceed with the high pressure hose for the rest of the underbody.
No, the Fair Lady terminology never made its way onto the paperwork, or, as far as I know, any of the paperwork here in the States. That was purely something they called them over in Japan, and maybe in other markets too, but not here in the US. It's funny because the whole thing originates from, like, an American movie, My Fair Lady, but that was a whole deal where the guy who originally helped design it was somebody who was a fan. As far as I recall, that's how the story goes. But no, they were not called Fair Lady Z's here, but Japanese market ones were.
Very gratifying to see the pristine underbody.
Yeah, at the time they thought the pretty JDM names were too feminine for America. It's like, we're grown-ups, we can handle it, but at the same time, I also kind of believe that, yeah, no, a lot of people would have, like, oh, I can't buy that. It says Fair Lady. It's just like, is the car cool or not? That's all I care about. Like, fine. If it's called a funny name, but it's the most badass car you've ever seen, and you can actually afford it, then who cares? That's why we don't have Nissan History Hall. Yeah, no, what a shame. Yeah. But no, like the original 240Z, that was a Fairlady Z also. I mean, that's kind of the name that stuck with it. But also, yeah, you had like the Bluebird, and like there were some other cars too that Datsun / Nissan were naming back in the day that, you know, may not have necessarily caught on so much with the Western crowds.
By a brand new
cars themselves are great though for
Mitsubishi. Then, of course, we also
handling
purchased
and
all
everything
new
like
hardware,
that.
gaskets, and rubber
Newsy has a
hangers.
Fairlady badge in Japan. That's cool though.
Now, this is a rare find.
Honestly, I would rather have a Z with the Fairlady badge on it. I think that looks nice in that kind of scripty font. It looks cool.
We have sourced this original muffler all the way from Ireland.
Wow.
The muffler is specific to the TME, as you can tell by the thin metal tip design.
Huh.
Condition is not so good, so we take it to a nearby shop for sandblast, then high heat ceramic coating treatment.
That's what it
They
looks
did
like
an awesome
underneath.
job, and the muffler body is
Wow.
like new again.
Hold up, that doesn't even look like the same one.
Metal tip design. Condition is not so good, so we take it to a nearby shop for sandblast, then high heat ceramic coating treatment.
Wow.
They did an
That
awesome
looks so
job, and
different.
The muffler body is like new again.
Crazy.
To make it even better, we give the tip a good polishing using some metal wax. Everyone behind the car.
Wes, have yourself a good night. Glad you got a chance to hang out here, and thanks for your contributions. I really appreciated the little, shares you made there. So thanks. Have a good night. All right.
Can now admire the shiny tailpipe. The middle section gets installed first, then comes the muffler. Very simple job using brand new hardware. Would you just look at the result? Absolutely stunning. Next up is
He was
engine
obsessed
bay.
with how
A bit of
much he
steam
didn't
plus
like
some
the
deep
original
leakage deep
exhaust that
cleanse
was
all
there.
areas of the engine bay. We bought a new valve cover, and now it's a good time to put it on. The old bonnet insulation pad is coming off, making way for a new one.
Well, doesn't that look nice?
Remember the old headlamps that had gone all yellowish and hazy? Worry no more, a new set is here, and look at the difference between the new
Oh,
versus the
yes.
old. A few nuts and bolts, and the new headlamps are in.
Well, yeah, when you have the bumper removed, it's a lot easier.
The front bumper can now make its way back on. New fender liners are next. At this
Oh,
stage,
that's
you can
nice.
see this is a no expense spared project. Whenever we can buy new original parts, we'll go for it.
Yeah, that's their whole
The previous
move.
owner had already refurbished the brake calipers and the wheels, so we just need to give them a good detail and polish, then apply a few layers of high heat glass coating. The coating will make future cleaning a lot easier as the glass coating is super water repellent.
Japanese cars are pretty much the only ones I know
All the
where they
dirty
can
work
paint
has
the
been
wheels
done now,
white
so we're
and it
giving the
actually
body
looks good
one
on a
more
car.
wash to make absolutely sure dirt and debris didn't stick to the paintwork. Wheels are back on, and we can start the paint correction process. Although the paint is new, the clear coat might not be perfectly even and level. A few days of polishing will produce a mirror-like finish, making the
Days.
red pop and shine like a new
Days.
car. Now comes the time to apply the iconic stickers onto this TME. The factory stickers already have very good anchor point references.
Huh.
Plus, we're using the original catalog as a second guideline, making sure all the stickers are where the factory intends them to be. Then it's just a matter of using a pair of super steady hands and carefully applying them one by one.
I was gonna say, it looks like it's pretty much just this one guy doing all of the work. At least the most intensive parts of work. He lays them on really well. Huh.
Emblems are, of course, new items too.
Man, that looks... Wow.
One final sticker is the door jamb tire pressure label. Then we apply 3 layers of nano titanium glass coating to create a rock hard glass barrier on top of the paint. This will protect, plus giving the clear coat a super glossy, candy-like depth and shine. Using the IR heat lamp, we speed up the glass coat curing time. Then onto the final few pieces of the puzzle. All the remaining exterior parts can go back onto the car.
And you won't find a nicer example than that.
Exterior is all done now, and it's time to tackle the interior. The old steering wheel and other bits of interior trims are on their way out. A bit of vacuuming first to pick up all the dirt and debris. With some carpet cleaner, first we scrub down the floor carpet and then onto the hot water extraction to finish the job. It's so much easier to
Giant
clean the
flex
carpet
tape
with
to
everything
cowl
out
the
of way.
flex.
A new shift boot is being installed onto the center console. Then the rest of the parts can be put back onto the car. The steering wheel has tons of marks and scratches. It's a real eyesore. On top of that, the red color stitching has all faded out and is now turned white. Lucky for us, we have sourced this like new, original steering wheel from Malaysia.
Wow.
A good thorough detail with some steam and cleaner is a must. Now you can see what the original red stitching should look like.
Huh.
Putting them side by side, the new wheel is in so much better condition than the old one.
Well,
Thank
obviously.
goodness we were able to find this rare item, as Mitsubishi no longer sells new TME steering wheels.
Yeah, clearly.
Right on cue, all the seats are now back from the upholstery shop.
Ooh,
They have
those look
simply done
good.
a stunning job.
Wow.
The lettering on the front seats looks exactly the same as original.
That's
The
friggin'
way
awesome.
they retain the red inserts, then sew on the new black velour, looks seamless in factory. No more ugly faded purple seats.
I think a lot of people have no idea just how much you can improve things like this. Like you look at it and you just kind of feel defeated like I do when you look at it and you figure, well, that's sun bleached, can't bring that back. Oh, that's gone. It's just like, well, with enough money, anything is possible. Just throw the money cannon at it. And then everything comes out perfect. And it's like, yeah, not the most realistic answer here, but hey, that's kind of what we see when we watch these is, yeah, you know, when in doubt, just get a new thing of that thing. As far as putting a giant flex tape decal on the flex, I cannot do that. Although I do wonder, you know, if I have to get like flex stickers from, you know, flex polishers or something to balance things out. I do have a nice flex hat, although it's a black and white hat even, which nicely fits the white and black flex. But I kind of feel like I'd look like a douchebag driving that, wearing a giant hat that just said flex on it. It might look a little out of place.
While we're at it, we're also installing new vapor barriers on all 4 doors.
That's nice.
Yes, you've
Protect
guessed
those
right.
electronics.
4 new door panels have arrived too. Very
Fully
simple
new door
installation
cards.
and
Wow.
4 more items that will transform the interior. Looking spanking new again. We're almost there now. Spinning
Justin
on a
Pate
brand
gets some
new
flex
shift
goodies
knob is
vinyled on,
always
yeah.
satisfying. New kick panels just pop on nicely.
Oh, that's nice. You know, like all these little pieces, you're basically putting this all like Mitsubishi Lancer grade stuff into a car that has appreciated in value greatly, but the parts are still the same plastic that they were made with 20 years ago, 30 years ago. It's just funny to see, like, you are paying so much just to have the original factory spec part. You could put something actually like a nicer, newer material that might hold up better, but wouldn't be original, so it wouldn't fetch the same premium.
And here comes the finale to wrap up this project, a rare new set of Rally Art floor mats.
Oh my god, those are so expensive. Jeez.
Just like that, our Tommy Mackinnon Evo project is finally finished.
Wowza. The thing is dialed. Such cool little cars, though. Also, these guys have wonderfully groovy music on their channel. Like, it just feels like I'm looking at a menu in Wave Race 64 or something.
It is an utter joy to drive this car today.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, especially this one, as it looks and drives and it smells like a new car. We really
Got all
hope
the right
next
parts.
owner will enjoy this as much as we do and appreciate the labor of love that we've given to this gem. It was a decent car by all means, but we've turned a slowly decaying ride into a collector's dream. Hope you've enjoyed this video and see you again soon.
I don't know where they're based at. I keep wondering because the scenery all looks like they're somewhere in like Southeast Asia or something. It's interesting. Huh. Yeah, no, that thing is badass. 88 just busted. All right, moving along, we're going to go to something decidedly, well, it's in different shape than that Evo was. Yeah, welcome to a BMW Z3 that has seen better days. This is going to be nasty. Let's watch. Hopefully you don't get whiplash. All right, moving along. It's a 2.3. It's
hey
not
guys,
even the
welcome
good
back
one.
to the channel. My name's Brent, and we have one of the moldiest cars we've done in a very long time for you. Today, we're at Definitive Motorworks in Broadview Heights, Ohio, and check out some of the stuff that was around us while we were working.
Awesome.
It was actually pretty tough for me to stay on task throughout the entire day, but I mean, there's $1 million SVJ Roadster right next to us, so come on. But anyways, the Z3 was left under a tree for a few years until the new owner bought it and shipped it to Definitive to have it worked on. So they called us to come clean it first before they could start working on it. And let me say, the transformation is insane. And really quickly, look at these sweet tarts and how moldy and disgusting they got. I don't know how long they had to have been sitting there. Maybe you guys would know, but
That's disgusting.
it was gross. And with that being said, I want to ask the question of the
It's
video,
Dane's
so leave your
heat.
answers in the comments below. How would you...
Yeah, for the record, my Z3 was in much nicer condition. Do you need me to show you the video again? Let's pop over real quick to the video. I'm just going to duplicate this. I'll hit pause there. And yeah, let's say Deep Car Challenge. Yeah, so first things first, take a look at so 2. Yeah, see me drifting that thing. Look at that shit.
Previously on the...
What? This? You got this for $900? Are you kidding me? No!
$1,500, boys.
leaving Anthony in the think tank.
These tires are sketch. All right, hey guys. Me again.
Levi pulled off his best Vin Diesel impression.
Pop the hood.
Pop the hood.
Pop the hood.
I retract my previous statement.
And the boys were faced with their first challenge, which may just change the game.
So, for the first challenge, you are all to wash the new cars.
Okay.
But you will be washing an opponent's car, not your own.
What?
Let's see.
Okay.
But you will be washing an opponent's car, not your own.
What?
So I ended up getting Dane's BMW Z3, and so Dane made it nice and dirty for me before we began.
Yep.
I mean, he went out and let's just say he drove that thing pretty hard. I don't blame him. He's getting a premium wash from Mr. Wash Wednesday himself, so I get it. Obviously, I wanted to treat it as one of my own, right? So I washed it the proper way, right? Used soap and water, foam cannon, made sure to get into the nooks and crannies real good. You know what I'm talking about. Really get in there and obviously test those seals to make sure that car doesn't leak.
Yeah, he tested him all right. Oh God. That poor bumper. That's the thing. It was an attractive color, and it was the 3-liter, so it was the good engine that you want. Oh my God, stop.
Really? Really? Oh, well, I actually think it might have went in. Dane, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, I really am. Honestly, I didn't think it was going to go through that easy. I'm sorry.
I ended up with Levi's truck. My strategy on it was I was going to do as little work as possible, but achieve maximum results. The idea was the products would do the work, you know, work smarter, not harder. So I just put like the strongest soap I could on that thing and just nailed it. Anyway, if you guys ever want to watch that series with me, maybe we can actually spend like an afternoon watching them, which may be fun. But I just wanted to show that mostly because it was fun to rip in that thing again.
So, pretty for me.
I love this.
Dane's BMW Z3. And so Dane made it nice and dirty for me.
Yeah.
Before we began. I mean, he went out
Slide
and...
that sucker.
Just say he...
All right. What's funny is that dirt lot does not exist anymore. It is now our new building over there. But story for another day. Anyway, that was fun. But let's go back to this monstrosity. Who pays to... Okay, don't judge, Dane. Just let them have their thing. Okay. 2.3, man. They got the 2.3. I mean, if you're going to buy a Z3... Okay, stop judging, Dane.
How do you guys feel about a car that was full of mold at one point?
At this point, I'd be like, let it burn.
Would you
I'm
feel
only
comfortable
saving it if
driving
it's like
or would you still be
an
thinking about
M
the
Roadster or
condition it was in
something.
previously? So the first thing we'll do is put the ozone machine in the car to start killing all the mold before we touch anything inside of it. And then we'll clean the jams, suck out all the acorns from the engine bay compartment, and then clean that.
Like, how do the acorns find their way in there? I guess I just don't understand the physics of like how such a large object manages to find its way through spaces that do not allow for that. It's just odd. Was that... Wait a second. Was that... Okay, those are like ants or like little insects or something all crawling around there. Ugh. Or spiders or something. They all just spread. He didn't say anything about it, but I was like, no, the way those are moving, those are insects. I know a rigid vac extended hose when I see one. That's smart, removing that cover. It's not a big cover, but stuff gets stuck under there. Get it. Go on now, get.
And
Get
while
on
we're
outta
detailing,
here.
especially at other shops, we do try to keep the floor as clean as possible, and we also clean it afterwards completely, in case you guys were curious.
Safety first. Get around the cap of the reservoir, that yellow cap up there, super filthy around that thing. Or just blast it. There you go. Oh, so much stuff managed to find its way into those canals. try and do as much of the physical agitation as you can do with just the pressure washer, but at a certain point you got to make contact with the brush or something, so I can see that. Okay, there we go. Breaking it loose, cutting through. Now we're making progress.
And now before pressure washing the car, we'll go ahead and spray a paint-safe degreaser on it to start breaking up that grime. And then we'll go ahead and actually pressure wash it. And it really helps the process, and it makes it easier to get it off the paint.
Yeah, now you can basically cut through it. Provided you have the right degree nozzle and the right amount of pressure without overdoing it. Well, that was nice. That cut through well. Didn't seem like there was actually a whole lot to worry about there once you get going. If you do a nice pre-treatment, it takes a lot of the bad effort out of it. Not too shabby. The real question is whether it'll happen on some of those lower parts where I know it can kind of get baked in. Okay, not bad. Not bad at all. I remember that fuel door, like that area in there, got so dirty on mine for some reason. I think it's just, there's no real seal around it, and the panel gap on it's big enough that it let like everything in there. Would have been nice if there was like a little bit of a rubber seal just to kind of prevent some stuff from getting too far in. Just some thought. You don't want to seal it off completely because you do want to allow for like some pressure differential, to happen there. But just running into family does this too, probably to dry off. Tony, wait, you're saying that like you're surprised? Yes, I did own one of those for a time. It was for a project, but I had always wanted to own a Z3 at some point just to see what the driving experience was like and see how it compared to my experience with my 92 Miata that I had. So I thought it would be a car that was worth picking up, and when I found it pop up as an opportunity for that project, I did it. Oh, I know it was a flex joke. Gosh. Damn, Tony. Damn. You got me. See, you can get me to talk about anything like that. I'm like, oh, you want to talk about this thing? Yeah, sure. Let's talk about it. And then it turns out, no. People just want to make fun of you, Dane. Don't actually believe them. And I go, oh, okay. I guess I'll be less enthusiastic. I was gonna say, that badge was toast. Mine was too on mine, but yeah, no, just get rid of it. Get new ones. The main hood badge was easy enough to find for mine, like a replacement was pretty simple to come by, but those side ones, the ones that go on the vents on the side, for some reason, those were really hard to find in a good quality form. Like, they had some cheap plastic ones you could find, but I knew those things were going to pop off and or just wear out really fast. So I looked until I could find some metal ones, but we were on a tight budget for the project, so I probably spent a decent chunk of my budget just making sure I got high quality versions of those, because I thought it would help the resale to have nice looking badges that weren't just going to fall off in a year. So, Whoever ends up
Not
with
gonna
that
lie,
in the
I
end,
honestly think you guys
they
should
got
like the
good
video
ones.
and subscribe just for the sick angle I got for you guys. But anyways, cleaning the top, we
very
used
proud.
our extractor soap
fine, I'll
and
like
a
your video
brush,
for
and we were
that.
able to brush it in, and then we power washed it away.
Gobble gobble, I've arrived. Welcome, Dane's Deflated Pool. Nice of you to join us. Yeah, I remember cleaning out the convertible top on that, and it was so dirty. So dirty. Those things just collect like crazy. But yes, welcome, Dane's Deflated Pool. Nice to have you here. I don't know how long I'll really be streaming today. I've been doing it for about 2 hours now, but I'm thinking tonight's kind of on the shorter side.
Now moving on to the wheels, we used our
Viewership's
iron
been a little
fallout
low
remover,
today. I don't
and
know what's
then
going
we
on.
followed that
Everybody's
up with some
busy
PNS
or
brake
something.
buster with an assortment
I'm
of
sure
different
people will
brushes.
catch up and watch
You
this
want to make
after
sure
the
you
fact.
can get into every nook and cranny so you can really get them clean, and then you pressure wash all of it away, leaving a clean wheel.
I mean, that is the goal here. Like, as far as cheap wheel designs go, that one's not the worst, but like anytime I see that on a BMW, I'm automatically thinking, oh, that's the low trim model. It just, something about it just screams cheap to me. But yeah, it's a late 90s, early 2000s thing. I mean, they just look that way. There are far worse designs out there, for sure. And don't feel bad if you got that, but it's just one of those things. I don't know. I can't help it. Car judgment stuff, I judge. There were a few different designs that you could get on Z3s that were actually quite nice looking wheels, depending. Gotta start getting ready for Turkey Day tomorrow, shopping and start cooking. Ah, okay, nice. Well, you know, it's just around the corner, so gotta get on that. I understand. Now we go back with the foam. This time we're just doing a full-on foam bath. We got some fun stuff planned at my day job for what we're gonna do for Turkey Day. Although we won't be doing stuff on Wednesday or Thursday, we'll be doing it on Wednesday instead. So those of you who pay attention to my day job, that's when we'll be doing our stream. It'll still be the same time and everything as normal. It's just a day earlier. That's all. But I realize when Q&A Thursday doesn't happen on a Thursday, that can be a little bit confusing. Turkey is weak. Be a man. Oh my god. What's the strong bird? Me, I prefer ham. That's always been my thing around the holiday dinners. The winter holiday dinners. Just
so you
give me
probably
ham.
see us do this step in every single video when we polish a car, and I don't always explain what it is, but we're using iron fallout remover on the paint, followed by a clay mitt, and that's just getting all the contaminants off of the paint, preparing it to be
Cornbread
polished.
dressing.
So
Aha.
if you guys are curious, that's what we're doing, and even
Do
after
it,
this
hump
step, it leaves
day.
it really smooth, but then you go ahead and you polish it. It takes out the marring that it leaves, the micro scratches, all that stuff, and it gives you a really nice finish.
Well, the silvers on that era of BMW are actually really nice silvers. Like, the paint quality was nice to look at least.
And moving on to the actual polishing, it's really hard to film silver paint.
Yes, it
And
is.
show the before and after, but we actually got a pretty decent shot after it was done. There was a lot of water spotting on this paint, but in a couple seconds after he peels up the tape, you will see it when we go from here, where it's really bad, and then you go across the paint, and you can see that it looks really good. So it's hard to show it on camera, but in person, you could definitely tell a difference.
True. How the guy shit himself with a random ass dirt stain, not even close to real deep south. Just dirt stain suddenly.
And finally, we finished up with a wax. We used Colinite 845.
Yeah, see, look how
We
nice
threw
that
it on there,
silver's
let it
coming out.
cure
That
for
looks
a little
great.
bit, took it off, and this paint was good to go. It looked absolutely beautiful. Leave a comment down below what you guys think of this transformation so far. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. And if there's anything you would have done differently or the same as us, leave it down there as well.
Engagement. We need engagement. More engagement. Clearly, WD Detailing is doing a good job, though, because they got 404,000 subscribers. I figured something out. Needs a Viper, yes. It just is foreign. That was just sped up footage of guys talking. That's all it was.
Now moving on to the doors and the steering wheel and all that stuff like that, we used our all-purpose cleaner and a soft bristle brush, and then we followed it with our steamer and a microfiber towel. And it's really simple to clean this stuff. All you have to do is take your time. And we use the steamer to help loosen the mold that's in those pores of the leather. And then we use the Tornador afterwards to help dry everything up.
Number one pet peeve with those frickin' doors. For me, on my Z3, the bane of my existence was that frickin' door pull, the handle on the inner part of the door. The way they're held in there is apparently like this commonly known amongst BMW Z3 people thing, where as soon as you pull on it and the screws decide they're just going to give up that day, it costs you way too much money to replace those things. It's stupid. So if you ever own a Z3, don't pull on those door handles too hard. Just grab the top of the door. Sorry, got a hiccup. Grab the top of the door and pull it towards you. Do not yank on the door handle, because if you do that, they will break and it will cost you hundreds of dollars just to replace one of them. It's stupid. Don't do it. I know it's there and it's tempting, but don't do it. I had to jury rig that thing back together and reinforce it with more stuff holding it in place than it ever had originally. It was dumb. 9 out of 10, do not recommend. Oh no, Alex, what? Some dingle schmuck on OG Facebook group applied Diamond Pro Tech but prepped it with eraser and complained about performance. Jeff said, oh man. You know, that never fails, does it? Like, anytime you put stuff out there and people see an opportunity to, like, knock something down a peg that they don't like and they don't want other people to like it, it just becomes this game where it's just like, well, I did all the things they'd say except for I changed this part and this part and this part. And look, it didn't perform. And then you're like, what? The prep is the most important part of any of this stuff. If you're not doing it in the manner that they actually suggest you do it for the manufacturer, then why are you complaining about the manufacturer's product not working? If you don't use their prep to then use their coating, if you think you're a big smart man and you go ahead and decide that, oh yes, I know the perfect, combination of isopropyl alcohol and whatever other stuff I need to do, they're all the same anyway, and you leave it at that, people get this false impression that it's the product's fault when you didn't do the stuff that was developed with the product that would have ensured you got the best result. And then if you follow the steps at that point, then if it doesn't work, you're allowed to complain about it. But if you do it wrong from the beginning and you purposefully do it a different way because you insist you know better, and then you don't get the results that people talk about, I'm sorry, that's not the product's fault, that's yours. That's your fault. Tony. Somehow I think he won't post a retraction. The damage is already done.
Personally, I think the seat.
What do you want to bet the people who've probably seen that post will then go, yep, heard about it on this forum, so anybody else asks about it, they'll be like, don't waste your time, that product sucks, blah, blah, moving on. And they'll just use that as ammunition without ever bothering to go back and actually cite the source and realize that the things being talked about were in fact different than what they thought they were, and they're operating under false pretense of false information. What are the odds of that?
Seats are the most satisfying
Not to sound incredibly like irritated about this kind of thing, but it's just annoying, and it happens all the time. But it always seems to be on the stuff where like there's a product that is worth your time and it's just starting to get its legs up and it's starting to figure out how to stand. It's like, okay, this is being, met with, different people who want to try this stuff, but there's only a handful of people who've actually tried it so far. And that's fine, but then, it gets the legs cut out from under it because somebody decides that they know best and don't prep it the way they're supposed to, and then they complain about it, and then everybody else immediately loses interest, says, oh, I'm not trying that. There is no one perfect, coating or whatever out there. I'm not going to waste my time. This is just noise. Once again, the hype beasts strike again, blah, blah, blah. Gee, you think I have like some internalized frustration with this stuff? I probably do. But yeah, it's just so annoying to then have that turn into a negative feedback loop that I have to hear about a year from now from some guy who heard it from his grandma's cousin's uncle's sister-in-law who said, oh, that stuff doesn't work. And then they just decide not to. I don't know. It's dumb. It annoys me.
Transformation of this entire interior.
I hate when that whole type of game gets started.
But watching all that mold get taken off, especially with the Tornador, it's so satisfying. Anyways, we use our all-purpose cleaner with some different brushes and the steamer again, and we were able to recover them. And then after we were done cleaning them, we used our leather conditioner to help bring them back and make them soft again.
The best thing that this Z3 has going for it is the color combo. The red interior in a silver car, nice. It looks good. The things holding this one back, though, are the 2.3 liter engine and the base spec wheels. You change those up and you got yourself a nice little car. I mean, even still, it's a fun car regardless, but there's a decent enough difference in the output between the low displacement and the higher displacement ones. Never quite understood what that little like cubby tray thing next to the handle on the seat was for. It just looked like a place where you could like leave your wallet or something. I was never really clear what that was for. I mean, I kind of thought maybe coins, that's a possibility, but I also thought that maybe that wouldn't be the best, because then they'd be loose and they'd just kind of shuffle around, you know? One thing I'm noting from a search engine optimization standpoint on this guy's description on his video, he doesn't use hashtag detailing anywhere. He uses hashtag car cleaning instead. I wonder if the search engine optimization, can't talk right now, benefits not using detailing as a word and instead using car cleaning. With more people over the course of like everyone who searches things search car cleaning rather than detailing. Maybe they don't know the word detailing or validating, they don't understand those things, and so they just say car cleaning instead. This is the kind of stuff that interests me. I don't know if it interests you, but for me, it's like, okay, thinking, oh, maybe they got a point there. Yeah, valeting. Valang. You know what I don't like, though? I like the red interior with the silver car. But what I don't like is the red interior with that, wood grain and a silver car. That just, it kind of clashes. I mean, in some cars they go together, like in an Aston Martin Lagonda or something. It's a very specific kind of choice, but in this, I don't see it. That's just not, no. Hashtag French fries, hashtag chicken nuggets, hashtag glitter removal equals view. Yes. Yes. I could see that. Man, he is going to town on this thing, though. It's just sitting there running. Much better. There's those damn wiper arms that smacked and cracked my windshield on my Z3. That wasn't fun. Hey, finished product. That's looking good. Interior especially. Nice. I don't recall him really going over the steering wheel or anything. Armor all! Oh man, that is one thing I'll say. Not as a dig or anything, but just as an observation. When we were at SEMA, our booth wasn't that far away from like the Armor All booth and some other things. Every time I walked by there, that place was just dead. It was sad. Like, you would look in there and there'd be people who worked in the booth and they looked bored out of their minds. And for like such a busy hall, it was just surprising that there weren't even like casual people who just, would dip through or whatever. And they had like a fairly notable vehicle in there, if I recall. There was some other stuff, but it just like, it was dead. Just dead. Can't believe we all use that product. I mean, Armor All makes more than one product, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. But yeah, no, their reputation is hard to live down. Anyway, I've kind of reached a point here where, sure enough, Tony, it looks like you're going online. I kind of felt like doing a little Call of Duty and stuff here. Just, getting my stuff ready. But at the same time, I also realized, well, yeah, 9:30 is a good time to do that. About the viewership here, you guys have been great. I've really been enjoying watching with you, but I also kind of feel like today it's been a little on the slower side. So maybe I do some more streaming this week, but obviously with Thanksgiving, that won't be a day I stream. But no, I'm thinking I'll do maybe something tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then Wednesday. But yeah, we can plan to do more then. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and kick it over here. Chat full screen. Alex, I knew I needed to move on from Armor All when I had it my door panel in my first car in 06 and it burned my arm from the hot sun. Well, I mean, that's a start, isn't it? Yeah, so basically, I think I'm wrapping up this evening. We're starting a little bit early. I'm going to go do some gaming, but it's been a pleasure, everyone. I'm glad you all got to hang out here with me. Thank you for watching along with me, and I hope you learned something. Whether it's something you already knew in the case of some of these detailing videos that had tips that you were already aware of, but maybe something caught your interest that you weren't aware of before, maybe a channel, perhaps an individual video where you're just like, oh, that's a style I wasn't particularly used to. Whatever the case may be, hopefully it gives you something to ponder as we call this evening a night. Yeah, So that's really it. If you haven't already, I would ask that you please follow me. If you're watching and you're not following already, please do that. It doesn't cost you anything, but it just shows me that, hey, there's some support, there's some numbers there. I should keep doing this because I enjoy doing it, but it also only really works for me if there's actually people watching. So, hey, other than that, that's basically it. I'm just going to go play some games with Tony and the boys, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. So anyway, guess I'm wrapping up. I guess that's it. So let me go ahead and unmute some music, and we will kick it over. You guys have a good one. I will see you later. Adios. Have a wonderful evening.